Mr. Warren began reaching into his waistband. I saw Agent Tilley reach down and grab his hands, and he indicated to me that there was a gun in play at that.
Are you Agent Dave Norton?
Formerly, yes, ma'am.
I guess I'm having some issues with that departure. So in 2022, were you an agent with the Drug Task Force here in the 23rd Judicial District?
Yes, ma'am.
You are currently back in Hickman County.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you worked in law enforcement?
Since 2004, so approximately 21 years.
And how much of that has been in narcotics?
Approximately, I'd say, at least 10 years.
And for our court reporter, although I think she's had you before, your last name is Nordan.
Yes.
Are you now Officer Norton?
I'm just deputy.
Deputy Norton.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Deputy Norton, on January 27th of 22, what were you doing with the task force?
We were conducting some patrols in the area of Dixon City.
And when you say patrol, were you in a marked or unmarked unit?
Unmarked.
And who was with you?
Agent Tilley.
Any other officers?
No, ma'am, not that I remember.
And what area of Dixon were you guys patrolling?
The downtown Dixon area.
What, if anything, happened at the Dollar General that day?
Myself and Agent Tilley, we were observing motor vehicle and foot traffic in the area, and we observed a red Chevrolet Tahoe. We were near the Dollar General, right there at the intersection of Main and Rickard Street, or Rickard Avenue, I believe it's called. We observed a red Chevrolet Tahoe pull into that parking lot and park near the entrance of the store there.
What, if anything, else drew your attention to the vehicle?
The vehicle's window tinting. It appeared to be illegal.
Now, over the course of your career, how many times have you observed a vehicle in order to gauge window tint?
I would say at least 100, several.
And when you're looking at window tint, why are you looking at that under Tennessee law?
In Tennessee, the window has to be 35% or above a visual light transmittal, otherwise it's illegal.
And are we talking about the front windshield?
All of the windows. The front windshield can't be tinted below the line on the top of the windshield. There's a line on there. I don't remember the name of what they call that.
So what did you guys do at that point?
We continued to observe the vehicle. Another vehicle pulled in adjacent to it. An individual got out of that vehicle and entered into the red Chevrolet Tahoe.
Then what happened?
Myself and Agent Tilley, we approached the vehicle on foot from our patrol vehicle.
Had you activated your blue lights?
No,
Weapons drawn?
no,
Shouting, hey, stop, police?
no,
What'd you do? You just walked up to the vehicle?
yes.
Then what happened?
We walked up to the vehicle. I approached the driver's side. Agent Tilley approached the front passenger side of the vehicle and made contact with the occupants.
What were your first observations when you approached the vehicle?
We observed there was a female driver, a male front seat passenger, and an additional male rear seat passenger.
What did you note about any of these individuals?
Well, the front seat passenger was Mr. Warren, who I was familiar with. The driver was subsequently identified as Ashley Vest, and the rear passenger was identified as, I believe, Jaden Warden, who was Mr. Warden's relative.
Okay, so you said you recognized the defendant, Mr. Warren. Why did you recognize him?
I was involved in a previous case with Mr. Warren. I believe it occurred in 2017 here in Dixon.
And were you aware of his probation or parole status?
I believed him to be on parole, yes, ma'am.
What happened? Okay, you walk up to the vehicle, you observe these individuals. What, if anything, happens next?
I was speaking with the driver of the vehicle. We observed the other individual in the rear seat. He was utilizing a vaping device. Briefly spoke with him, determined he was only 20 years of age, and just briefly spoke with Mr. Warren as well.
And what did the conversation with Mr. Warren look like?
My conversation was very brief. I just confirmed who he was and said something to the effect, I asked him if he was on parole, and he indicated that he was.
Okay, then what did you do?
I stood by. Agent Tilley, I believe it was, requested Mr. Warren to exit the vehicle.
What happened then?
Mr. Warren began reaching into his waistband. I saw Agent Tilley reach down and grab his hands, and he indicated to me that there was a gun in play at that time.
Turn your microphone on. Microphone. We're trying to make sure it records everything.
Judge, I'd like to object to that unless a 602 foundation is laid to make sure he observed this firsthand and that was not information that was derived from Officer Tilley.
You want to re-ask the question to make clear how this transpired?
Agent Norton, were you able to see the defendant reaching into his waistband?
Yes.
Were you able to see what came out of his waistband?
Initially, no.
Were you able to ultimately see what came out of his waistband?
Yes.
What was it?
A handgun.
Why were you unable to see it during a portion of the interaction?
Agent Tilley had a hold of him, had a hold of his hands, and they were both there was a struggle there.
Okay. What?
Any objection, I will overrule any objection based on that clarification.
What, if any, contraband was located in the vehicle?
Inside the vehicle that I found, I conducted a search of the driver's purse, and I located some drug paraphernalia.
The remainder of the vehicle was searched by Agent Tilley?
Yes.
Did you issue citations for the illegal acts that you have talked about in your testimony?
Yes.
Judge, I have provided these to the defense, and I'm passing up. Here, I'll first pass up a citation on Miss Ashley Vest.
All right.
Agent Norton, do you recognize that?
I do.
And is that the citation that you wrote out around the time period for Ashley Vest for window tint, financial responsibility, and that paraphernalia that you found?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I would move that in as Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1.
Passing up a second citation, this one is for Jaden Warren. Agent Tilley, Deputy Norton, what did you cite Mr. Warren for?
Mr. Jaden, I cited him for simple possession, drug paraphernalia, and possession of an individual under 21 with a vapor product.
Judge, I would move that in as Exhibit 2.
All right. And these are citations to whom? Who are they to?
Let me clarify, I'm just going to call you Agent Norton
ma'am.
because that's what I know you as. Agent Norton, Miss Vest was the driver of the vehicle where Mr. Warren was found?
Yes.
And then Jaden Warren was the backseat passenger of that vehicle?
Yes.
And you alluded to earlier that when you walked up, he had a vape in his possession?
Yes.
And was under the age of 21?
Yes.
One moment. What was the window tint of Ms. Vest's vehicle?
The window which was tested was the driver's side rear window, and it was at 19%.
And that is below the statutory threshold of 35%.
Judge, I'm going to object just to the fact of, I object to his conclusion that that's the conclusory number. I'm not contesting that he tested it or checked it with whatever methodology.
Okay. You're not, so what exactly are you objecting to, Mr. Baker?
Well, he's conclusively saying this 10 is this number.
But I understood him to say that he tested it and this was the result of the test.
I don't know that we've got into the testing and the
I can lay a
qualifications
further
and the
foundation.
methodology.
All right. In view of that, I will allow you to restate those questions.
Agent Norton, how is a window tint test conducted?
It's a little handheld device that's battery operated that we use. It physically slides over the window once the window has rolled down, and it gives a number, a digital readout of the VLT, the visible light transmittal of the window.
How, do you have any interaction with the calibration of that device?
Yes.
Could you please explain?
It comes with two already tested, I would say, pieces of window. They're pieces of plastic. They're at a certain tint percentage, and they're used for testing purposes. Their percentage is already determined, and we use those to occasionally calibrate the device.
So you have two control samples that you know what it's supposed to read, and you run them through the device to make sure your device is still reading accurately.
Yes.
And the tint meter that you used in this case, did you calibrate it regularly?
Occasionally, yes.
Occasionally. What does occasionally mean?
We don't keep any documentation, but occasionally we'll test them and ensure its reliability.
Is there a certification process for the using of these tint meters?
Yes.
What is that?
It's just an online course.
Did you complete that certification?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about tint meter versus visual estimation of window tinting. Do you usually, before stopping someone for tint, have an idea what their tint is going to test at?
Approximately, yes.
And is that just from your experience and training over the years as an agent?
Yes.
How many times do you think you have tested and checked window tint over your career?
At least 100, several.
Can you think of a single time you've pulled over a vehicle saying that window tint is not going to test legal and been wrong about that?
Not that I can recall, no, ma'am.
And at this point, I will ask, did you test the tint on Ms. Vest's vehicle?
Yes.
And what was that percentage according to the tint meter?
19, I believe.
And you issued a citation for the same?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a post-certified law enforcement officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Baker, you have any questions?
Agent, if you would, could you give me an articulable standard for what the tint looks like at the legal limit in Tennessee?
I don't understand your question.
You have to articulate in words what tint at a legal transmission rate would look like.
Legal would be above 35, illegal would be below 35, but you can't ascertain that definitively until you test it.
Okay, so you shift the burden to the defendant, so you stop them, and then you're going to test him to see if he's legal or not, is that correct?
We conduct the test to determine whether or not it is legal, yes, sir.
So you have no articulable standard until you stop that vehicle and then run your test, correct?
There are things that we look for that would tend to indicate that it may be under the legal limit.
Well, then articulate that standard for me. What does that look like?
Ability to see through the window
Okay.
is the main one.
You can agree that you can see in certain light through 35% transmittance, correct?
Yes.
And 19, correct?
19 would be difficult.
You can drive with 19 tint, correct?
Physically, could you drive with 19%?
Did you not stop a car that you observed driving with 19% tint?
Yes, sir.
You let blind people drive?
Do we let blind people drive, sir?
Does Tennessee allow people that are legally blind to drive?
I don't know that answer to that, sir.
Okay,
I would say probably not.
probably not. Is that because they can't see?
I would assume so, yes, sir.
Well, if you couldn't see through that 19% tint, as you said, these people were driving blind in this red pickup truck?
Is that a question, sir?
That is a question.
Could you rephrase that? I don't understand the question.
All right, you said you wouldn't want blind people driving in Tennessee, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you can't see through this 19% tint, they're driving blind, are they not?
Wouldn't say that.
Okay, so you can see through it, correct?
Through a 19% tinted window?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay, so you can see through that, and at 19% light transmitted, you can still see through that because by definition, 19% of the light is going through that window, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so to say otherwise would be factually inaccurate and outright scientifically incorrect. Would that be true?
I couldn't say, sir.
Okay, all right. So you cannot give me in words what the standard is for window tint, how you can visually interpret what the legal standard is.
I can only say that if the window is 35% or above, it would be considered in Tennessee legal, and below that, it's a violation of the statute.
Okay. All right, now, this meter, what date was it last calibrated prior to this stop?
I couldn't say. It has a card inside the device that would say that.
Which meter was it that was used?
The company, sir?
No, the specific one that was used to test this tint.
It was the one that I was in the possession of at the time.
Where is it at?
It's probably now in possession of the Drug Task Force.
So it's available for testing?
I couldn't say, sir.
Where is the standard strips that you used that you compared with, your standards?
They're kept inside the case that holds the device.
Who has those now?
That particular device, the 23rd Drug Task Force. I turned that back in when I left there.
Who did you give this particular unit to?
That would have been the inventory officer there. I believe that would be Sean Noble.
You know what day that was given to him?
I would have been on the date of my last employment, I couldn't say, somewhere in 2023.
All right, after the date, after January 27th of 2022, what date was it calibrated?
After that,
Yes.
I don't know, sir.
So we don't know if it was calibrated before, and we don't know if it was ever calibrated after, correct?
It was calibrated after.
Well, then give me that date.
I don't have that date, sir.
Take me through the standardization procedure that you went through on there.
The training
No, I want to know what the procedure is
for the what, sir? I
for
don't
the
understand question.
calibration.
We test the device. I wouldn't say calibrated, but we use those samples that are included with the device to test the if it's reading correctly or not.
Is this an electronic meter that gives you a percentage, or is it a visual test like you look through two windows and see if your eye detects them to be the same?
It's an electronic test that gives you a digital readout.
You know who the maker of this device is?
Yes, sir. The company?
Yes.
Yeah, the name of the company is Laser Labs, I do believe.
All right. Are they the one that did the online certification?
Yes, sir.
So you can late file that certification as an exhibit to this testimony?
I'm not in possession of that, no, sir.
Who would be in possession of that?
Probably the training officer at the department.
And who would that be?
That would also be Mr. Noble.
All right, so Mr. Noble would have a trainer certificate. Do you know what date that training was conducted?
I do not.
Does it have to be updated every year?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
All right, so according to your report, you stopped that vehicle for the mere fact of window tint violation, correct?
Stopped it, sir?
Or
We did.
you went up to it?
Yes, sir. That we approached the vehicle, yes, sir.
Okay. So at that point in time, when you approached these individuals, you had no probable cause of any crime. You just had suspicion of a window tint violation, correct?
Yes, sir. We had reasonable suspicion of the window tint violation. Yes, sir.
Based on what? Give me that reasonable, articulable set of facts that makes that.
The windows look darker than 35% visual light transmission.
Okay. Describe for me what 35% visual transmission is to the naked eye.
Difficult to see through.
Difficult. Kind of like that door there? Is it
That door would read 0 because there's no transmittal to it.
Well, have you ever tested a door?
I have not.
It is difficult to see through, is it not?
Yes, sir.
So it could be 0 or 35 by your standard, correct?
appears to be zero to me. But
That's the point. Other than somebody looking at something and going on a hunch, I think that's too dark. There is no standard, is it?
that's why we conduct a test.
Wouldn't it be easier to have let me back up. Do you know the purpose of the window tint law? Do you know what the stated purpose of that is?
If it's not spelled out in the statute, I couldn't say.
Okay, so there's no legitimate government purpose?
I couldn't say, sir. I didn't.
You're challenging the constitutionality. We'll just stop right here and let you go ahead and notify the Attorney General that you're challenging the constitutionality of
I
the
am.
statute as having no legitimate purpose.
I haven't got there yet, but.
Have you ever heard, this reminds me, it's Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and you're questioning him about whether the light transparency of a solid wood door. I'm kind of reminded, when listening to this officer, of what Justice Potter Stewart said about hardcore pornography. You remember what it was?
Oh, I actually have the opinion right here.
I can't
Judge.
define it, but I know it when I see it.
Exactly.
I tend to think that's what this officer is saying about window tint. I see cars and trucks all the time that have window tint that appear to me to be illegal. I can't define it, describe it in a way that defines it, but I can tell you that it does look that way. I know it when I see it. I don't have a test to run, but I'll go ahead and let you continue your cross-examination to make a record.
Well, that's my point. My point is, and as the court just cited, that standard is not a good standard.
Well, it was good enough for pornography for Justice Potter Stewart, wasn't it?
It was until later on. Now we have an articulable standard that the Supreme Court laid down. And that was the point. You can't specifically define something when it's all opinion. When you have to say, okay, this screen here is a certain percentage transmitted. I question anybody to look at this. We have a big screen TV here on the screen in the.
Mr. Becker, let me ask you a question. Does the current state of the law allow an officer to initiate a traffic stop of a vehicle that has window tints that appear to be in violation of the window tint law? Yes or no?
The current state, yes.
Current state of the law, it
Yes.
does. If, by your argument, there is no clearly defined articulable standard by which an officer can describe it, other than they know it when they see it, it looks too dark, which is clearly a subjective thing, then is that any different than a speeding violation that they see a car zoom through town? They don't have it on radar, but they can tell it's speeding, in their opinion, subjectively, and initiate a stop based on a traffic speeding?
I think that you could, let's explore that. That's a good analogy. If somebody is speeding, what tools does an officer have at their disposal? I have a radar. I have the ability to pace the car. And if I can't ascertain it from those two quantifiable methods, I can stop the car and give the person a warning. I believe you were speeding.
All right,
But
so
that wouldn't give you the ability to say, I am citing you now based on my visual observation of your car going by that you're doing 92 miles an hour in a 55.
I don't disagree with you then, but you just referred to the fact that there was a test that was there available. My point is that the initiation of the interaction between the officer and the criminal defendant. Now, let me ask you this. Under the current state of the law and the statute, how would an officer ever initiate a stop on a window tint violation if he doesn't use his subjective opinions about the transparency of the windows?
That's the point. They should not be allowed to.
So you're challenging the constitutionality of it.
And I'm going to give you a very hard example why. Using the scenario that you put forward, Judge, okay, if I see a car that's speeding and I stop this car and says, hey, I think you're speeding. Get out of your car and I'm pulling the telemetry off of it. Well, what does that require? A search warrant. What did the government do here? I stopped the car. I think it's illegal. I'm testing it. What did they not have? A search warrant. There is absolutely zero difference between the two scenarios. I see something, I think it's illegal. The difference here on window tint is now, let's put a standard that is absolutely so subjective that the police, the government, can stop any car I want. And that's what they've done here. Because if it was a public safety issue, which it is not, the standard would not be stop cars with tint and put myself in danger. The standard would be when I go to the court clerk's office to renew my registration, it has to be tested at that time. It has nothing to do with public safety. Furthermore, the standard in Florida, I believe this would be the Florida standard.
Oh, don't cite Florida.
There wouldn't be 50 different window tint standards.
Don't cite Florida in any way to me.
So that's where we're going. That's the argument. If you've heard enough, I can sit down now.
I hear your argument, so.
But that's my position.
Your position is that an officer who sees a vehicle with a window tint driving down that completely obliterates any light going in or out, and therefore, which is basically a public safety, the front windows are blocked or black, all of them are black, then an officer cannot stop that without obtaining a search warrant, which is obviously for a vehicle that's traveling is going to be one of those situations that seems to be unreasonable to expect an officer to run to a magistrate, which usually will take 2 to 3 hours to type up a search warrant. That vehicle is where? Gone. So you just don't want them to stop them at all.
I do not for that, because that is nothing but written into law, so law enforcement can stop vehicles at will. For example, if you go to Missouri, where you have vehicle inspections before you get your registration, that issue would have been absolutely moot. There wouldn't be an officer safety. You can't use that argument when this bill was lobbied for that, ooh, dark window tints put officers in danger, which is absolutely a farce. If that was the truth, they would not be able to stop a car based only on window tint, because then they are putting themselves in danger. I've got no evidence of a crime. It's dangerous. Let's stop this car and put myself in danger. It's the most absurd argument I've ever heard when you read the purpose of that law, when the legislature was debating this and the DA's conference was lobbying for it. Everything that they said about, hey, this is officer safety. Well, the effect of the law is now you've made it a primary offense, so I'm going to put officers in safety every time I stop a car. If it was public safety, the scheme would have been you register your car, you certify that the tint is legal at that time, or you don't get a registration. Now, we all know why the law enforcement in the DA's office lobbies the legislature for these type of laws. And that is for the mere purpose of, I want law enforcement to be stopping anybody at any time. Okay, I'll move on.
My fault. I'm the one who tried to, I'm the one who opened the floodgate of Mr. Baker's mind, so. Do you have any other questions for this witness?
I'll go brief. The firearm, did you see the firearm, what type of firearm it was when you initially saw Officer Tilley with?
Initially, no, until it was removed, but it was a handgun.
Okay. Was it on any body camera you had at that time, or did you have one on that day?
We were not equipped with that devices at that time.
Because I didn't see one. Anybody else was present at that time when Officer Tilley was taking Mr. Warren out of the car?
Eventually, there were some other officers that may have showed up after, but initially, I don't believe so, no, sir.
Okay. Who secured the firearm?
I believe that was Officer Tilley who removed it.
Tilley.
Agent Tilley, I'm sorry.
Agent Tilley?
Yes, sir.
All right, so it didn't go, did it ever go to Officer Hollis, do you recall?
I couldn't say, sir.
Okay. Well, let me ask this question. Was there a chain of custody form ever done for it?
Yes, sir, there should have
Okay,
been. Yes, sir.
gotcha. I think that's all I got, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
General Bryson, you have questions, redirect?
How much time passed from when you approached the vehicle to when Tilley was taking the gun from the defendant?
Not very long, a span of less than just a very few minutes. I would say.
How much time passed from when you approached the vehicle to knowing that the defendant was on parole?
Again, not very long at all. As soon as he looked over at me, I recognized him.
So are we talking moments? Are we talking seconds?
Moments.
Okay. How much time passed from approaching the vehicle to asking Jaden's age and finding out he was underage vaping?
Just moments.
Nothing further, Judge.
Becker?
Did it take you from the time of the stop to check the window tint?
I don't recall when we checked it. I don't believe it was initially because of course, the incident with the gun.
So it was completely after all of this incident?
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to ask the driver for the driver's license?
I don't even think we got that far.
Okay. That's my point, Judge. No further questions.
This vehicle was stopped when you approached it, correct?
We approached it on foot. We did not have blue lights activated,
But I
but yeah,
mean, though, it wasn't moving when you walked up to it.
correct. Yes, sir. It was
And this
parked.
was in the Dollar General parking spot on Main Street.
Yes, sir, on Main Street. Yes, sir.
And what called it to your attention?
The darkness of the windows as it went by.
And while you were observing it, another vehicle came up,
Yes, sir.
and then those people got into that vehicle?
A male subject. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. You
Judge,
can sit
I've
down.
got one follow-up on that. Subject was Mr. Warren's son, correct? That got in the car.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can step down. Call your next witness.